You know, in any hospital, some of the most powerful tools for healing also happen to be the most dangerous. We're talking about high alert medications, where the line between helping and harming is incredibly thin. So, how do you build a safety net for that? How do healthcare systems stop critical errors before they happen? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
I bet you recognize a lot of these names, right? Fentanyl, heparin, insulin. These are really common, life-saving drugs. But the one thing they all have in common is something called a narrow therapeutic range. And what that really means is that even a tiny mistake in the dose can cause serious harm to a patient. That's exactly why they need a whole other level of care and attention.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into what actually makes a drug high alert. Then we'll get to the main event, the independent double check. We'll look at how it works, who can do it, and what happens in an emergency. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this whole system is so incredibly important.
Okay, first things first. We have to really understand the risk. What actually puts a medication on this very special high alert list?
Well, it all boils down to this. High alert meds are the ones with a high risk of causing major harm if there's an error. And we're not talking about minor side effects here. We're talking about the potential for serious injury or even death from the tiniest slip-up. It's all about that razor-thin margin for error.
And this quote just nails the whole philosophy behind it. The logic is simple. The safety system has to match the risk. If a drug has the potential to be fatal with a small mistake, then the safeguards have to be rock solid. It's a direct response to the danger involved.
Which leads us right to Section 2, the independent double check. This is the elegant solution designed to tackle this very serious problem head-on.
So what in the world is an independent double check, or IDC? The most important word here really is independent. This is not just someone glancing over your shoulder and nodding. No, this is a second, qualified pro doing their own separate check of everything, the patient, the drug, the dose, without any influence from the first person. The whole point is to catch human error, to get a truly fresh set of eyes on the situation.
All right, so that brings us to how this thing actually works in the real world. Let's look at the step-by-step protocol that makes this whole system tick.
You have to wonder, right? With so much on the line, how can you guarantee that every single step is followed every single time? You need a process that's clear, consistent, and easy to remember.
And they do it with this brilliant mnemonic, verify. First, you verify the patient using two identifiers, like their name and birthday. Then you ensure you have the right medication, concentration, and dose. Next, you review and, this is key, independently calculate the dose all over again. Then you identify the correct route, whether it's an IV or something else. After that, you finalize it all by having both people sign off. And last, you yield to one final look at any important lab results, like checking blood sugar before giving insulin. Every letter is another layer of safety.
Now, a great process is nothing without the right people. So for Section 4, let's look at the qualified checking team, who is actually allowed to perform this critical check.
The policy here is crystal clear. The check has to be done by licensed professionals. Think registered nurses, pharmacists, and physicians. And just as important is who's not on the list. Medical interns, students, any non-licensed staff, they're not authorized. This isn't a training opportunity. It's a critical safety function that demands proven expertise.
And it goes beyond just having a license. Checkers have to complete specific training on this exact procedure. And maybe most importantly, they can't have been involved in preparing the drug in the first place. That's what ensures true independence. That's what guarantees that second pair of eyes is completely fresh.
Okay, let's tackle a huge real-world question. Section 5, when seconds count. How does this careful, deliberate process hold up when things get chaotic and you're under extreme pressure?
Because this is what we all think of, isn't it? What happens in a true life-or-death emergency, when a delay of even a minute could be the difference? Does the whole system just fall apart?
No, it adapts. In an emergency, they can authorize an expedited check to get the medicine to the patient, like right now. But the safety net is still there. A full secondary verification is done after the drug is given, as soon as things calm down. And you better believe every single detail of that event is meticulously documented. The system is built for both safety and reality. And that brings us to our final section, why this system matters. Let's pull back and really appreciate the simple but profound idea at the heart of all this. I'm talking about the power of two.
It really all boils down to this number, 2. 2 qualified providers, 2 patient identifiers, 2 independent calculations,
It's such a simple concept, but it creates this amazing redundancy that catches mistakes before they can ever reach a patient. It's about turning one person's job into a shared, verified responsibility.
Because ultimately, this is the one and only goal. Every step, every rule, every signature, it's all designed to build a shield, to stop medication errors in their tracks, and to keep patients safe. That's it. The entire system is engineered for that one purpose.
And how do we know it's actually working? Well, the system keeps itself in check. There are regular audits for compliance, deep dives into any incident reports to find patterns, and yearly checks to make sure everyone's skills are sharp. This isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of policy. It's a living system that's always getting better.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. The independent double check is this kind of amazing invisible safety net that works behind the scenes. And it really makes you wonder, if a simple structured double check is this powerful in medicine, what other invisible safety systems are out there, quietly protecting us in other parts of our lives every single day?